Tonight I'm reviewing Agatha Christie's Peril at End House. I'll just start by reading the synopsis that comes in the front of this facsimile edition. 3 near escapes from death in 3 days. Is it accident or design? And then a 4th mysterious incident happens, leaving no doubt that some sinister hand is striking at Miss Buckley, the charming young owner of the mysterious End House. The 4th attempt, unfortunately for the would-be murderer, is made in the garden of a Cornish Riviera hotel where Hercule Poirot, the famous little Belgian detective, is staying. Poirot immediately investigates the case and relentlessly unravels a murder mystery that must rank as one of the most brilliant that Agatha Christie has yet written. Peril at End House brings Poirot back, and we really get to see quite a bit of his methods in this one. It also brings Hastings back. Hastings has returned from South America, and he's been told all of these stories of what's happened since he's been gone, namely of the events that happen in The Mystery of the Blue Train and in the murder of Roger Ackroyd. And I think in this one, Poirot even has more fun making fun of Hastings' stupidity, or his slowness at grasping even the most basic facts of the case. Things happen when Poirot is talking to Nick Buckley at the garden of the hotel, and she comments on a bee that's flown past her head. When she leaves, she accidentally leaves her hat. Poirot looks at the hat, and there's a bullet hole in it. Down on the ground next to the table where they're sitting is a small bullet from a Mauser pistol. And so then he finds out that there have been all of these narrow escapes. Nick Buckley, she's got a kind of a funny bunch of friends. And there's Freddie, and Freddie, like Nick, is a woman with a man's name. Her name's Frederica. And Freddie is a young woman who kind of looks like a pale, distracted Madonna, is how Hastings describes her. And she's always a bit out of it. We have a captain who Hastings takes to right away because he's got a military background. He's a sea captain. And then we have Lazarus, a Jewish man, and we get a little bit again of the of Christie's ideas on how Jewish people are treated at this time. Generally, it's with mistrust. And even in her writing, she betrays some of her own mistrust, but you can tell that she's working to try and get through this. I don't know if she's just bound by the time period in which she's writing, but she really does make him kind of like the character in Giant's Bread, the Jewish character in Giant's Bread. He becomes a very important character and a very likable character as well. Despite some of the comments that might make us cringe a little bit to read about now. But as I say, Poirot really gets into his methods in this one. He actually, with Hastings, makes a list of the possible subjects, and he letters them A through J. And A through I are all people that we've met in the story, and J is this unknown character. The character that we don't know anything about. And then he adds another one, a K character, who is the character that he forgot about. So in this, we really get to see how the questions that Poirot asks, his method of detection, and I think that this one is a very interesting story. Again, we have some atmosphere. End House is this kind of gloomy, rundown house right on the coast. Even the name End House, it sounds like something's coming to an end, that death is going to happen. Another nice moment that occurs in the story is there is a seance in this one. So kind of like the last book, the Sittaford Mystery, or Murder at Hazelmore's, it's also called, where there's the table turning and they're listening for spirits. This one has a seance as well. This seance becomes a device to flesh out the murderer. Besides murder, we also have missing wills. We also have a drug dealer and drug addiction. Cocaine is the drug of choice in this. We also have an aviator, a famous aviator who, like Amelia Earhart, he is flying he's planning some kind of landmark flight, transatlantic or round the world flight, and he disappears. And so, interspersed with the story is news about this aviator. So with all of these attempts on Nick's life, Poirot is kind of baffled because he's wondering what's the motive. Why would anyone be wanting to kill this person? And we as readers might be wondering, what is there going to be to investigate? There's no murder yet, but murder does occur. At Poirot's insistence, Nick invites her cousin Maggie up to stay with her at End House as kind of a protector, kind of someone who can be with her. In kind of a comedy of errors, both Nick and Maggie end up wearing both black dresses, and when Maggie goes in because she's cold, they're watching a fireworks display at night, she goes to get a shawl, and Nick tells her to wear her red shawl. And so she goes out. There's a lot of noise and pops from the fireworks, but then as Poirot and Hastings go back into the house, they see a woman lying dead on the ground, and they believe it's Nick because she's wearing Nick's red shawl. But it's actually Nick's cousin Maggie. And so Poirot has to solve the murder of Maggie, but what he's really doing is he's still trying to solve the attempted murders of Nick, because Nick is the focus of the story. So there are some really wonderful surprises and twists in this story. I give this one, I would say, a 4 out of 5 stars. This is a strong Poirot novel, but it's not his strongest. And there are a few too many little surprises at the end. And while they are exciting, some of them are a bit much. So that's kind of what really keeps it from being like something like Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which is such a masterpiece. Still, it's a great read, and I highly recommend it. I also recommend the BBC's adaptation starring David Suchet as Hercule Poirot and Polly Walker as Nick Buckley. It's a great, very faithful adaptation and a lot of fun. Also, Jap is in this one. Next time I'm going to be reading a collection of short stories, The 13 Problems. This is a collection of Miss Marple short stories that were actually written before Murder at the Vicarage, but the collection was published after. At least I believe so. I need to check that out. But we'll talk about that next time.